Welcome to 24 Holiday Tips for Savvy Homeowners, brought to you by HomeTipsforWomen.com. Join us each day as Tina and her guests bring you a holiday tip to fill your home with more joy and less stress. And now, here's your host, Tina Gleisner.
Welcome, everyone. This is Tina Gleisner at Home Tips for Women, and we are in the middle of our series of holiday tips to help you save time, hopefully a little money too, and enjoy the holidays more. You see, I know that, like everyone else, the holidays are a wonderful time of year, but we tend to overcommit ourselves as women, and I've learned that a little planning can really make a big difference and help us enjoy the holidays more, especially if you follow the 4 Ds that I always recommend. The first is to delegate, because there's nothing that says you personally have to do everything on your list. The next one is try doing some of these things together with friends and family, because then you're really getting into that holiday spirit as well as checking things off your list. The third one's my favorite. It's okay to drop some things off your list. There's nothing that says if you've done something for several years that you have to keep on doing it. If you drop things off, it leaves space in your schedule to try new experiences. And if you're successful at doing the first 3, then you're going to have free time to delight yourself with a few special activities just for your enjoyment. And with that, I'd like to introduce, because entertaining and food, it's really a big part of the holiday season. We have as our guest expert today, Kathleen Ellis of Kathleen Ellis Lifestyle Design, and she's going to share with us 3 secrets for stressless holiday entertaining. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for joining us.
Thank you, Tina. It's my pleasure to be with you today.
So just to get started, I've been asking everybody, what is your favorite holiday activity?
Well, it's really hard to narrow it down to one, but I think one of the things that I really enjoy the most is creating a festive, warm, and welcoming atmosphere in my home. So when friends and family come here, they just kind of feel like they can take a deep breath, relax, enjoy the beauty, and maybe take that feeling back home with them.
And I understand the feeling you're creating. Can you share a couple of visual of how you do that so that we can try to kind of see into your home?
Sure. Well, the first place I start is with the entryway. I want people to be wowed from the time they pull in the driveway, so I always make sure there's a big, beautiful wreath on the door, and also plenty of extra light. At this time of year when it's so dark, gets dark so much earlier, it's nice to have a little extra light to kind of give the house a glow. And then inside the entryway, I usually have a soft scented potpourri of seasonal, whether it's pine or cinnamon or something like that. And again, some extra lighting. I do a couple of trees in my home, one in my dining room and one in my great room. And I'm always playing holiday music. I try to incorporate all of the senses so that when someone comes in, it just really feels like a festive, fun place to be. So, but with what they see, what they hear, what they smell, there's always plenty of extra throws, faux fur throws and everything. So even the touch can be kind of satisfied with warm kinds of fabrics and pillows and all that are around. So those are just a few of the things that I do, and I try to do 1 or 2 things in every room, so that I don't. It's not like full blown, like somebody just blew up and all these decorations popped out. But there's something kind of special and unique in each room, and that becomes the focal point for the season.
Exactly. I finally have learned that 1 or 2 things per room is all you really need, and that's where people's eyes go to.
Exactly. Yes.
So then let's move on, because I know that getting, a holiday, even if it's a buffet, not a sit-down dinner, is a lot of work. So I'm excited to hear about your secrets for making that stressless.
Well, there's three things. The first thing is to plan. And this is true in any area, but especially during the holidays when there's so many other distractions and obligations and things. So we want to make sure that we plan. And planning is, some people say, oh, I don't have time to do that. And it's really the most important step. And when we take the extra few minutes that it takes to plan, we actually end up saving time and money. We're not running around like a chicken with our head cut off trying to remember all the things we were supposed to do, and we're not out buying duplicates of things that we already had. So when it comes to your entertaining, that would look like planning your menu, planning your date, making sure that it's a date that works for the most amount of people. There's no date during the holiday season that will work for everyone. And one of my little secrets, a side note to that, is that I tend to wait until after the holidays, in January or early February, while my house is still decorated, the hustle and bustle of the holiday season is past, people can take a deep breath, then I have them over and do some entertaining. So that can take a lot of pressure off of everybody, guests and hosts involved. You want to make sure that you're planning your menu, your everything down to the details, where it's going to be served, if you're going to do a buffet or a sit-down dinner, what your grocery list needs to be, who's bringing what, and so on. Just have all of those things written down so that as the busyness of the day of the event draws near, or the few days before when you have to prepare, you have all of those things in one place. They're written down, and that way you're sure not to forget anything. And then that leads me to prepare, which is the second secret, which is should be just kind of a natural step, but so many times people don't take the time to plan and prepare ahead. And part of the planning process is creating the preparation process. So we might plan ahead what our menu is, and who's coming and when it's going to be and where we're going to serve it, and so on. And then we want to make sure that we plan the time to prepare. So that might look like the time to get out to the store and purchase all of the items that we need, perhaps preparing some of the foods and favors or little guest gifts that you might be giving, preparing those things ahead of time, maybe even before the busyness of the holidays, and who you're going to delegate things to. Just like you said, there's no, in your 4Ds, there's no written rule that says we have to do it all and do it all ourselves. So delegating is a key here to eliminating some stress and overwhelm. And when you delegate, you want to match those things up to be a good match for someone who doesn't really cook or like to cook. You maybe don't want to ask them to bring a casserole. Maybe there's something else they could bring, like paper goods or a wreath or some flowers or something like that. You'll know once you have your list planned out what some of those other things might be. So try to match them up. And when we take the time to prepare, especially prepare ahead of time, that will eliminate stress and overwhelm, which is huge during the holiday season. And then the third secret, and this is perhaps one of the most difficult for some people. It took me a long time to be able to do this with grace and ease, is to remain flexible, because nothing ever goes as planned. So what I tell women is always have a plan B, C, D, and E, so that when plan A doesn't work, and maybe parts of plan B doesn't work, and maybe even some pieces of plan C, you've still got some things together, and you still know how you can pull it off and make it work. And that, again, will help you to eliminate stress and overwhelm, because you just won't be stressed about it. You'll know that, okay, I've got a backup plan or 2 or 3, and so I don't need to sweat this. If something goes wrong, I know what I'm going to do instead, and I've got this covered. And so those are my 3 secrets for easy and elegant holiday entertaining and eliminating some stress and overwhelm. And another thing that I like to add is that rather than a sit-down dinner, which is a wonderful thing, and that's partly why I wait until after the holidays, because I do like to do a sit-down dinner. But during the holidays when there might be even more people than usual and all of the other things, a buffet is a wonderful way to do easy and elegant entertaining. And you can do a dessert buffet, you can do an appetizer buffet, or you can do like a casserole or a themed type of a food buffet. So it doesn't have to be a full meal. It can be apps or desserts or apps and desserts. And that's a wonderful way to kind of get the stress off of having, room for everybody to sit down at the table and enough dinnerware and so on. You can use pretty disposable paper goods. And again, you can delegate and have people bring things to help out. And it's just a wonderful way to be able to take a little bit more stress and a little bit more overwhelm out of the holiday entertaining season.
I love it. And my favorite is that you suggested it, and I think one other person mentioned it, doing your holiday entertaining in January. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that says it has to happen in December.
Exactly. And it's something to look forward to. After the letdown of all the busyness of the holidays, after a week or two, we kind of catch up on our rest, and then we're kind of like, oh, now what am I going to do, So it kind of fills that void. Yeah. These are great tips that really, and it's really important to think things through, because as you do, you can also identify potential problems, and that's where you want to have your backup plans. Exactly, yes.
Yeah. And I think we're in sync on the delegate. You don't have to do it all yourself. That's perfect.
Yes, that is so true. Mm-hmm.
So, thinking ahead to the holidays, what's most important to you during the holidays?
There's two things that are really important to me during the holiday season, and that's making sure that I have quality time with my kids. We still do Christmas Day all together. We open our stockings and just have a wonderful kind of laid-back pace about the day. And that's just a really important time. We lavish our kids with gifts, and we just enjoy that, being able to do that. And then honoring the reason for Christmas, which is God's gift to us, and that our faith really comes into play with that, which is something that as a family we enjoy celebrating as well.
Right. And that's so good, because, one of my concerns has been as we went from Black Friday to now the stores open on Thursday is there's so much commercialization of the holidays, and we forget why we're celebrating. Exactly. And it's important to really get back to basics.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Kathleen, if people wanted to connect with you online, where would they find you?
Well, they can find me at my website, KathleenEllisLifestyleDesign.com, and on Facebook under the same name, Kathleen Ellis Lifestyle Design. Either place they can connect with me. I love meeting new women and new people, so I'd love to have them stop by. And there's also a free gift, MP3 and a planner, the 4 Ps to a Stressless holiday season. So that's a little something for them to grab while they're there.
Right, and on the blog page, we will have a link to your survival kit for holiday entertaining. Because awesome. I agree, it's absolutely a good planning tool. It just helps people think through all the things that should go into that planning and preparation.
Yes, absolutely.
So I thank you so much for sharing these tips, and I hope everybody's found at least one great nugget to take away with them. This is Tina Gleisner at Home Tips for Women, sharing holiday tips to help you have the best holiday ever. We hope you'll be back tomorrow. We're sharing one guest and their tips with you each day. I'm signing off for today, and everyone, Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Thank you for joining us today, and we invite you back tomorrow for another Savvy Holiday Tip. Be sure to grab your free gift at SavvyHolidayTips.com. That's SavvyHolidayTips.com.